Rock Warriors worldwide, welcome to the revolution.
Greetings, Rock Warriors, and welcome to the revolution. Today's guest is a bluesy band out of Pittsburgh called Yigga Digga. Their new album, No Limiter, is available on Amazon, Discogs, Acoustic Sounds, and all streaming services. Their next gig is at the Craft House Stage and Grill in Pittsburgh, PA, with their friends in Pantera, PA's premier tribute band to Pantera, on Friday, March 13th. Check them out. They're also participating in Rock Wars this month as well. So if you want to go on over to the Rock Wars YouTube channel and give them a listen, they'd appreciate that as well. We had a couple of questions about your band from fans of Rock Wars, and it's a question that I had too, so I'm sure you get it a lot. So my first question is, where did you come up with the name Yigga Digga, and what does it actually mean?
We never get that question ever.
No, never.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for quite some time, and back in the old days before the internet and all that, the ease of it, someone would come up with a riff, and you get you get Chris on the phone or Scott or Bill, and be like, hey, I wrote this riff. Well, how's it go? It's kind of like a yigga digga, yigga digga, yigga digga, young chunk, yigga digga, yigga digga, it's kind of that fucking vibe, and we just ran with it.
Awesome. I like the name, and it's an interesting name, and nobody has anything like it, so that's a plus. You guys, to me, are like
we don't have to worry about copyright infringement.
Absolutely. You guys are like a real bluesy type band, which I love. You have that rock blues feel that you don't get a lot anymore today. What do you think of like the newer music that they're putting out? Because that's kind of what Rock Wars is about. It's about getting away from the auto-tune and all that crap.
I mean, the interesting thing about this band and everybody in it is that, everybody has different likes, different tastes, different favorite bands. And so I think what happens is, when Chris or Tom or, whoever comes up with an idea, we're all putting our 2 cents worth in based on what we play. So, or what our favorites are. And it just kind of all blends together and kind of makes Digga what we are.
That's awesome. So what do each of you guys play? Like, who's the bass player, the guitar player, drummer?
That'd be me. I play bass.
Go Cold Flesh.
So he's clearly the
Chris
cool.
Monic, I play guitar.
So clearly the bass player is the coolest guy
sorry?
in the band. So.
Oh, yeah,
Thanks,
just
man.
ask him.
He tells us all the time.
Yeah.
So Mr. Bass player.
I'm Tom Dillon.
So I have a question for the bass player, and that is, who do you consider the greatest bass player of all time? And I ask because I'm a bass player, so I know the correct answer.
Les
Do we
Claypool.
have enough time for this? This might go on for a while.
Yeah.
Let's start with Les Claypool.
Come on, that's a mailed-in answer.
Well, for me, that's who it is. It would be Les Claypool. I mean, Billy Sheehan. There's a lot of
I
them.
can't go against that.
Oh, I love Billy Sheehan. Like, nobody plays a bass like Billy Sheehan. I mean, huge hammer-ons and pull-offs, and like he plays lead guitar on a bass. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking earlier. He goes by Fletch. And I said bass players must like that FL word because he also likes flea.
Eh,
No,
I
I
don't
said
know.
I have fleas.
I don't know. For me, Flea's probably the most overrated bass player in music. I am not a huge fan of Flea.
Agreed.
I'm more of a Geddy Lee guy. I
He
mean,
did it. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Steve Harris.
Steve Harris. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
there's so many.
Absolutely, there are a ton.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you guys like to play? Do you have like any brand loyalty, like Kramer, Jackson, like as far as instruments? What are your rigs?
G&L, PV, guitars, Gamma basses, SVT, all two bass amps. That's what I'm into.
Awesome tube amps, great sound.
I've been Gibson since day one. I got my Gibson Les Pauls. I have an Explorer acoustics. My Friedman amps, that I started using after a few years ago. When we were doing the second album, I was pulling in every amp under the sun. I was just buying and selling amps on eBay, just searching for something that I liked, and I landed on those Friedmans and haven't looked back. So I'm pretty much set. I'm gonna play whatever we give them.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a dog. I'm a huge Yamaha Pacifica guitar fan. I love the neck on them. I'm playing through an EVH right now and Marshall cab, and I have a Schecter with a hip shot because we do a lot of drop D tuning and then standard tuning, so it makes it easier.
Awesome.
And then I prefer and have played for probably forever Tama drums and Minial cymbals, and I just got into the new classic Darks, and they just have such a thick, heavy sound. They're awesome. And then as far as sticks go, people laugh at me, but I buy the sound percussion drumsticks from Guitar Center. They have most longevity, and they have nice rebound on the round tips. So I love those. But
Plus, when they break, we can fuel our wood burner.
yeah, I'm part chipmunk because there's or beaver or something, but there's always wood chips laying around up here, so we got plenty of kindling.
Huh. Sounds like you play a lot. So
No, I can go through 3 or 4 sets of sticks a gig.
wow, that's hard playing.
Oh yeah, lead weights.
So what is your
I
guys?
break a lot of shit.
You guys seem like you guys have been playing for a long time. Talking to you, what do you think of the state of the music industry right now? Like I'm getting a lot of feedback from other bands, and it's not good. The state of the music industry doesn't seem very good right now.
It's tough. Without sounding like ego, because it really has nothing to do with that. Digga's been purchased all over the world, man. Damn near every continent. But the state of the industry dictates that when people stream or download, we're all getting pennies on the dollar. And
Absolutely.
I don't think it's any different for us than it is for anybody else.
I look at it like it's kind of like a cigarette or a can of beer. It's very stick of bubble gum. It's very consumable. 30 seconds later, you toss it away and you forget about it. Not to go off on my diatribe about what got me back into vinyl, but like I found myself as a listener, as a fan, 30-second attention span, clicking through YouTube videos. Like, okay, I listen to this for 30 seconds, click next. Okay, 45 seconds, click next. And like, I got to a point where I'm like, man, when I was a kid, this is not how I listened to music. This is not how I got into music. And I sort of made like a mental state to get back into listening to albums, like from front to back. And, so I got all this vintage turntable and a bunch of vinyl, which I never thought I'd spend money on music ever again, right? And now here I am. But I think that kind of drove the whole album, actually. Is we wanted to set out to record an album that you could drop the needle and play the whole dang thing. And, hey, I don't know how well that's going to go over in today's climate, but that's where I'm at.
I think there's a couple things with the industry as a whole. Number one, the entire market is saturated with original music because anybody who has a computer can record a song. If you know how to program a computer, you can write a song. So even if you have zero musical talent, you can create music. And I think that's a big problem with industry right now, even with tours, is you have plenty of people out there that are making millions of dollars and they don't play a lick live.
Correct.
You know, it's like they don't master anything other than a computer. And, you know, we're kind of purists in that respect.
I agree with that 100%.
Can you write a song?
I'm sorry, you broke up. I missed what you said.
I was just saying, the trick is, can you write a song when the power goes out?
Exactly.
There's no computer. Can you actually write a song? You know.
Exactly. And the thing is, I mean, I'm old school. When I was playing in bands, it was back in the late 80s, early 90s, and we didn't have all this, you know, computer crap that they have now.
Right.
And I did notice that although you can do things on a computer, it's still like the sound's not the same. Like just because you can make a song on a computer, it doesn't mean that it's worth listening to. You know what I mean? I find I look at 100, 200 videos a day, just rock words, and a lot of it's just trash. Like,
one of the things Digga always resigned themselves to is we wouldn't put a song on a CD, let alone vinyl now, that we couldn't play live.
right.
You know, there's no additions, there's no subtractions. Actually, our next idea is really dropping it old school. Our next release, which we're not working on yet, but we want to go in and just record it live. You know, just like old school Beatles or Rolling Stones, or you know, we want to write the stuff so that we can really just focus on that part of it. But you know, our live performance, whereas it has the beauty of live performance and the problems or the mistakes and everything else, if we can't do it live, we are not going to put it on we're not going to record it.
Awesome.
Maybe even ditch a click track.
Yeah.
I remember when we recorded the first album, like we get in the studio and the first thing is like, all right, here's the click track.
Yeah.
How many BPMs is it? We're like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
You're trying to play along with this click in the headphones. It took a while to even get used to trying to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's one of the things that I actually.
Not purist.
Go ahead. That's actually one of the things
I was just going to say, it's not. Go, your turn.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, I was going to say we're not purists in the sense that creativity and differences we don't give a nod to, but oversaturation, like Scott said, of just this digital medium that we're dealing with we just want to stay away from it.
Right, and that's one of the things that I actually love about your band, because when you listen to you guys can tell that you guys love what you're doing, and it's not, you know, overproduced autotune crap. I hate to keep going back to the autotune thing, but I hate autotune. I think it's killing the music industry. Like, you have all the.
Hey, the first rule of autotune is we don't talk about autotune.
Right. Well, you have all these record companies now, and they go get these, you know, supermodel chicks and, you know, GQ guys that can't sing to save their ass, and they autotune the shit out of them and then let them go lip sync, and apparently that's what passes for music today, and it kills me.
Yep.
Well, we don't do auto-tune, you know, but we all have faces for radio.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say something. I was going to be like, what, are you calling us ugly?
Well, you and me both, brother, because I got a radio face as well. So, but no, do you know what I mean? I mean, today's music it's not
Absolutely.
what it was years ago. It's just not. Like, you could take.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I started Rock Wars, because you have all these like American Idol, The Voice, and Got Talent, and all this crap, and you're never going to get bands like Pink Floyd or Zeppelin or AC/DC or Aerosmith or anything like that coming out of these shows, because
No.
and that's my goal, is to bring bands like yours and bands like Elevation Falls and some of these other, you know, actual bands and bring them to the world's attention so people can actually see them and hopefully, buy your music. I think that's the goal of Rock Wars, to actually have real bands making actual money in today's market,
You know what, Sean? You hit on something right there about, bringing the music to people. That's the other problem with the industry right now, is that there's really not enough, at least where we're from, there's not enough venues that accept original music. And getting original music played or distributed anywhere else is virtually impossible unless you have a distribution company or a record company behind you. And record companies, are kind of passe.
That's done.
They're distant past.
Right, and it's everywhere. It's
would we love to have some? Yeah.
Like I was just talking to I don't know if you're familiar with the band Blue Dog Cruiser. They were the first band to ever win Rock Wars. They were our first band. They're from Australia. And basically, he plays in a cover band. And the reason he plays in a cover band is because his original band can't play any venues. Like everybody wants to hear Jesse's Girl. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And we don't like doing covers. I mean, we have.
Oh, they're on our. Yeah.
I mean, we've done them before in certain situations. We have to play, longer sets. But if we're going to do a cover, just like When the Man Comes Around by Johnny Cash, when we do a cover, we're going to take it and make it our own. It's not going to be just a rehash of, of everything that's going on.
Right, as it should be. Like, one of my favorite covers of all times is Motley Crue's cover of Helter Skelter, because it's nothing like the Beatles version of Helter Skelter. You know what I mean? And I love the Beatles version as well.
Yeah.
But I get exactly what you're saying. So tell me about Yigga Digga. What do you guys like? Where do you like to play? Like, what's your favorite venue around Pittsburgh?
We've had a lot of good luck at. We have a show coming up at the Craft House. We opened up for Texas Hippie Coalition there a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And we have a show coming up March 13th. March 13th. Open up for a band called Pantera, for a friends of ours. Then they're a Pantera tribute.
Right.
We love that place.
There's a couple clubs in Pittsburgh. Craft House is one that does bring in a lot of touring bands. The other one is Jurgles, which we haven't had the opportunity to play Jurgles yet, but hopefully that's right around the corner.
You're gonna go see Fozzy there.
Yeah,
coming there.
But
I always like the Hard Rock.
The Hard Rock.
I think they do a lot of
there.
They do a lot of the cover band type.
Yeah.
80s poppy kind of
There's
stuff.
a problem in Pittsburgh. It's called parking. I mean, there's some really good venues, but when you got to double park to load and unload and walk up 2 flights of stairs to get in, they're good places, but God, are they a pain in the ass?
I feel you. I'm actually sort of from your area. I grew up about 10 minutes away from Philly. So I'm familiar with Pittsburgh. My wife's favorite football team is the Steelers, so we fight a lot about football. I don't know if you guys...
most people are.
Well, most people from Pittsburgh are. I'm an Eagles.
There ain't no New England here.
So, like, do you guys have any good Yigga Digga stories? Anything, like, any funny stories or anything like that from when you guys are gigging? Or
How about the first road trip with the Yigga Dented?
Oh, my family has a car lot. We sell cars and do repairs, and we were doing a trip. It was a long weekend road trip: New Jersey, New York, and the old man had a case of the ass with me, so he gave me this Dodge Caravan to haul our gear in, and you couldn't go over a bump without it scraping, and it had a big dent in the side of it. That was funny.
We stuck the Yigga Digga sticker on the
We stuck
dent.
a Digga sticker on the dent and put the hell with it.
Called it Yigga Dented. And then you were like, I just put new tires on the Caravan, right? And then we loaded all the gear in there, and we're out on the turnpike drinking growlers, right? And every time you go around the bend, the fender would hit the tires and be right.
That's cool.
I think one of the more recent was when we actually filmed the first 2 videos for the new album. We filmed them in Florida, and we stayed in this fucking camper that this guy was living in.
I was living in the camper in Florida,
and there was a lot of drinking and a lot of shenanigans happening in the camper, but it's like, I don't know if the neighbors will ever recuperate from the drunk singing at 2:00 in the morning. But we tried to eat them also out of every oyster that was available in Florida.
Wow.
So
They're good.
none of them died though.
Not coronavirus is coming.
Yeah.
No big deal, just had Lyme.
Yeah. Now, you guys, we had talked a little bit about the state of what the music industry is like today. If you could change one thing about the music industry, what would it be?
I don't think there's one thing.
Well, I'd say radio.
Yeah.
If you could go back to how radio was done in even the 60s, where DJs actually had control over what got played.
Instead of corporations.
Instead of corporations.
There was at least a chance that you could infiltrate that. Now if you're not on a major label, you're not getting on the radio during prime time.
It's true, but you guys will.
You
guys will be on the radio in prime time in Huntington Beach, California, because our new Rock Wars station is actually right in prime time. So.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
We want to come to California.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it.
We actually did get invited to play the whiskey, and we're still trying to work out the logistics on setting up, somewhat of a 2-week tour so that we can play our way out to California and back.
You guys got to figure that out because that is epic. Playing the whiskey is epic. It's something that not as many people get to do. So if you have a chance to do it, I say figure it out. So
it's on the bucket list, man.
Yeah.
And you just said Huntington Beach, California, and it's like 20 degrees here, right? And I've been there. I know it's nice. I'm just transported away there right now.
Okay, well, our radio show's in Huntington Beach, California, but I'm in Savannah, Tennessee. So, I mean, it's still pretty decently warm here. It's not up north cold. It doesn't get that cold here.
That's another market that we've been wanting to get into. But I mean, Nashville is so inundated with good music, and trying to come to Nashville as a Pennsylvania band and play down there and have anybody even, show up to see us. It's, especially without any kind of radio support.
Promotion's hard.
Nashville is awesome. Nashville right now is the music center of the world. It's they don't call it Music City for nothing.
Yep.
Well, one thing that I can tell you, I don't know when it's going to happen, but we are working on it. My property is 33 acres. And we're looking into what it would take for us to actually have a Rock Wars music festival here. And we're about 2 hours from Nashville.
Consider us in if you do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ways off because like zoning and, licensing, and you got to figure all that crap out. But hopefully within the next year or two, we're going to have Rock Wars Battle Zone in Savannah, Tennessee. So you guys would definitely be welcome to come down and play that.
That would be an honor.
Just call it the Church of Rock Wars, and and you'll be fine.
Right. And then
Hey,
Bill can tell you all about that.
oh yeah.
No, there was a place here near us a few years back that were having outdoor shows. The guy had huge chunk of property. They were having all these outdoor shows. Well, the people in the neighboring community started complaining about the noise, and so he started calling it the Church of
Universal Love.
Universal Love and Music, and because they were able to get the zoning to be a church.
Well, the awesome thing about my
that didn't last long.
The awesome thing about my property is my neighbors are like deers and raccoons and stuff, so I don't really have that issue.
Nice. We need a hunting license when we come back.
Yeah, it's we got plenty of game on the
Is your
property.
neighbor Ted Nugent?
No, I don't even know where Ted Nugent lives, but I actually, believe it or not, I don't know if you're that familiar with country music or anything like that, but one of my closest neighbors is Daryl Worley.
Okay.
Not familiar.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's big in country, so like we're rock and roll guys, so what the hell do we know? But he's definitely big down here. Like he's big enough that our local hospital has a Daryl Worley Cancer Center. So
Daryl Worley.
Wow.
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of neat. He's real
I'll
nice.
look into it.
He's a really nice guy. My kids play with his daughter and stuff. So.
Cool. Well, that's the thing about the music community. You know, when you're sincere, it really doesn't. It transcends gender.
Genre. Yeah.
Genre. It transcends genre, and sincerity is the link.
Absolutely. So, do you guys have anything that you want the fans to know about Yigga Digga? I mean, you guys are in Rock Wars this month, so hopefully they'll be voting for you.
I think probably the biggest thing is, you know, letting people know that they can find us on Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, you know, all the social media and most of the music sites, iTunes. We're on all those. The only thing that I would ever ask anybody to do is just check out our stuff in full.
Yeah, entirely.
The whole package, because we do tend to write, you know, different songs for maybe different tastes. So if you don't like No Limiter, you might like Better Way.
Right.
It's, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, check it out, because there's something there for, you know, Pink Floyd fans, Black Sabbath fans, you know, funk fans. I mean, there's something in there that anybody could like.
Everything that inspired us is usually on our albums, represented one way or another. There's a song on our new album called The Opus, and it's long. It's never going to be radio play.
It's 10 minutes.
It's a self-indulgence. You know, we were like, hey, we got these riffs, let's put them all together and write something, and that's really the way it started. What was I?
It's kind of a nod to 2112.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and the Abbey Road medley.
Yeah.
On the second side of Beatles, Abbey Road, and yeah, we got a violin on there. We got
tons of auxiliary
harmonies.
percussion.
We brought in a bunch of people to do gang vocals.
Yeah. It's a really neat song.
So I think that was
Long song.
That was kind of an ode to like how people used to do things in the 70s. You know, you had that kind of sprawling artistic freedom to do something like that.
It's a 4-part Inagata Davida.
Wow, that's pretty long. Oh, I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, there's some, you know, 9-minute Metallica songs that have gotten played on the radio. So.
Yeah. Well, it's Yigga Digga, not Tool.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to play a 10-minute Yigga Digga song.
Right.
Tool can get away with it.
They just want to get us on again.
Yeah. So what's next for you guys? What's your I know you're right now you're promoting your album and you're getting ready to do some gigs. Like what can we expect in the future? Like the big Yigga Digga stuff that you're keeping to yourself?
Trying to set up an East Coast tour, which is a little bit easier said than done without backing, you know, both financially and promotional. So we're trying to put together this tour ourselves, and we're kind of finding that it might be possible, but you know, it's not going to be like a month-long tour. It's probably going to be more like 5 weekends,
mini tours,
you know, of different areas. So that's what we're trying to do. So if there's any clubs out there that, you know, likes our stuff and wants to bring us in, man, hit us up.
Awesome.
I think our focus now is just trying to get out. We love the album. We're really excited about it. We want to get in front of people wherever, however we can, and then just play the heck out of it, you know?
Awesome. Well, you guys are Rockwell's family now. I mean, you guys have been on a few times, and you're basically Rockwell's family. So anything you guys need as far as from us to help promote you guys, like if you want to come on again and promote a single, or you want to promote the new video or whatever, just let me know, and you know it's a done deal.
Awesome, man. That's great.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And have you guys
and thanks for what you're doing with the Rockwell.
Well, it's a labor of love.
Absolutely.
I love doing it. So, of course, just like any band, I'm not making any money off it, but I do love doing it. So, have you guys actually checked into any of the crowdfunding? Have you guys ever checked into any of the crowdfunding sites? Like, I've actually seen people, like bands that have raised like $100,000 to do a tour, or you know, thousands of dollars to do a new video and things like that. Have you looked into anything like that?
Well,
we've looked into it, but it's one of those things where, you know, we want to try and grow as organically as we can.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things where, you know, it feels awkward asking people for money.
Yeah.
You know, but if somebody comes and offers it to us, we're not going to turn it away.
Right.
But you know, we just want people to like us for what we do.
Buy our merch.
Buy our shit.
Buy our merch. Buy our albums. You know.
It's the only way bands can do it anymore.
Well, that was actually my next question. Was I know where you get your music and stuff like that, but where can people buy like the Yigga Digga T-shirts and coffee mugs and stuff like that?
Right now at the shows.
Yeah.
We're looking at setting up an online storefront, but you have to you basically have to start a business in order to do that.
Okay.
You have to have a business checking account and
right.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes setting that up with taxes and, you know, all the other online merchandising rules and regulations.
We're not trying to skirt taxes. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah. No.
Oh, I am.
Everybody loves to pay taxes. No, okay. So basically, if I want a Yigga Digga T-shirt, I got to go to Pennsylvania or, you know, wherever you guys are gigging and buy one at the show.
We can send you one.
Yeah. Well, you'll get as many as you want. What size?
That's cool. I just I like plugging stuff. Like if you guys had an online store or something like that, I want the guys that are listening to know where to go get your T-shirts and stuff. But I would definitely rock a Yigga Digga T-shirt.
Oh, you can do it on eBay.
We can do it on eBay.
Yeah, we can do it on eBay. So you just helped us think of an avenue.
There you go.
There you go.
That's connectivity right there.
Awesome.
And go on Etsy.
Okay.
We don't make them, but we create them.
Pinterest.
Now, I don't know if you're familiar with, like, I know you guys are familiar with how Rock Wars works as far as, like, people watching your video and getting points and stuff. But I don't know if do you guys interact with any of the other bands that are competing at the same time? Because that's a big part of Rock Wars, is being able to like meet other bands from other places. And sometimes it works out to where, like, we just had a band from Australia who's getting ready to tour Japan, and we have a Japanese band that plays, and I hooked them guys up together so like they could ask questions and, you know, help each other out. It's kind of like a collective kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and quite honestly, I mean, we haven't reached out to any of them. Nobody's reached out to us, but I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great concept, and I'll definitely look into it. Like, I mean, you and I connected through Twitter,
right?
Originally,
yes.
And and Twitter is something that none of us were really using or familiar with, but I've gotten a little bit better at it, and I've started making some really great connections with people like yourself. And there's a lot of people out there that are willing to exchange ideas, and I get DMs from other bands that I like, that I start following on Twitter. Yeah. And so, to that point, I think that unsigned indie bands that are trying to do something bigger have to start working together more.
Yeah, and 100%. Twitter is amazing. Twitter's like today's equivalent of a business card. Like, in my opinion, it's probably the most important social media to be good at, because I've connected with so many people through Twitter, more than Facebook, Instagram, anything.
Yep. It started out, we were getting like one follow to every 100 people we were following. So the ratio wasn't very good, but we've got it now to where, when I go on and follow somebody, we're getting follows back. We're finding the right people, and we're over 30-40% now. And I thought that was pretty solid, to turn that around.
Well, there's actually something that I want to tell you guys about, because I try telling everybody about it now. There's a new social media platform that anybody that's in a band should be involved in, and it's called theextreme.net, XSTREAM.net. It's basically like Facebook for music. All right. Everybody that's in there are all in bands.
Oh, okay.
They're bands, radio shows, music producers. I mean, it's awesome. I got hooked up by a guy from Rock Wars, this guy named Jinx. He went to the Extreme, and I kept going, nah, I'm not. And I finally, listened to him, and I went over, and my God, it's amazing. Like, something that I would put on Facebook that might get, 10 follows, I put the same thing on the Extreme, and the next day it's got like 72 follows. You know what I mean? It's amazing. You guys really need to check that out.
Okay. Done. Yeah. Done. We're there.
We'll check it out.
So, and that's actually where I got the hookup with the radio show in Huntington Beach, because they have the extremeradio.net, which is online, but then they actually have a terrestrial radio studio in California, and if they like your show, they'll put it on there. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, any guys that that are in bands that are, or even solo artists or whatever, tell them, check out the Extreme. They'll love it.
Cool.
And if you go over there and you look around and you like it, let me know, because I was really blown away. I like it so much better than Facebook, but that's just me,
Well, if it condenses the community, that might be a plus.
Yeah.
It definitely does. And like they also have like a thing where you can put like you have a new EP, you can put your EP on there like you can on Spotify and do it by tracks, and people can buy your music on there too. Like, so I mean,
oh wow,
cool.
I'm still trying to figure.
That's great information, man.
Yeah, I'm actually still trying to figure out how to do my podcast on there. I got to talk to the people that run it or whatever, because I'm not that tech savvy, to be honest with you. And every time I try to upload it, it tries to upload it as an album and individual tracks, and it messes me up. So
Oh,
But yeah, so like I don't know, like I get a lot of decent feedback from Rock Wars because it's an unusual platform. It's not like anything else that anybody is doing right now. Um, but I also get like negative feedback on it too. Like, you guys have any like any negative feedback for Rock Wars? I'm just curious because I've had people that get mad because the video goes on the channel instead of their channel and stuff like that. Like, I'm not like, I haven't made any money off of it, so I don't know why they get mad, but some people do.
Everybody gets butthurt about everything anymore.
Yeah.
Anybody that's looking to, anybody can get something out there to an audience that you wouldn't otherwise reach. I mean, what's wrong with
There's
that?
nothing wrong with that. Yeah. If you're helping promote it, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I don't see a downside to that.
Right. Like,
Yeah,
no,
I've not heard anything.
okay, I was just curious because I actually just had a band that I really like. Like, they're actually a really good band. I don't want to give anything negative to them, so I won't mention their name or anything. But I asked them if they wanted to compete again, and their response was like really negative. They were like, no, because we're trying to grow our YouTube channel and we want to keep our videos on our YouTube channel. And I don't know, it just seemed like to me like kind of like shallow thinking, because like the more people that see your stuff, the better. Like, the pennies you make off of monetization.
Don't be going in here.
You know what I mean?
Hey, given the state of what we have to deal with as musicians and music people, I don't understand how more can't be better.
Right. That's
when you start cutting through the endless chatter and the endless ridiculousness, and you get down to a group of people that are single-minded and all about the music, I don't know how that could possibly be construed as negative. No one's getting a huge hunk of the pie right now.
correct.
Most of us are picking up table scraps.
Right.
You put enough scraps together, you can make another pie.
Right. Okay, I was just
that's your
curious.
next song.
I'm gonna write a song right now.
What kind of
Yeah.
pie?
Not cherry. That didn't work for Janie Lane.
Yeah.
Well, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
But yeah, my thing is basically I'm trying to bring, all these bands and everything together so that everybody can, like, the bigger the group, the bigger the numbers, the more it can help other people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking if Rock Wars goes viral and, some band that's on the channel that's not Yigga Digga, I don't know, say it's Celticon, they get 1 million views. That just brings more attention to Yigga Digga because you're on the channel and people are looking at it because now this other band got 1 million views. You know what I mean? That's kind of my way.
Absolutely. That's the way it seems to work.
So
Align yourself,
I remember back in the day hearing a bunch of bands say any publicity is good publicity, and I think that's still the case, but there's just so many bands out there vying for that. You've got to do something to stick out or get additional people seeing you, and
right.
if people aren't willing to do that, that's their loss.
Right. Yeah, I think it's because I think the reason why people have that feeling, though, to an extent, is because of how predatory the record labels have been over the years with, like, screwing bands out of royalties and things like that. I think the mentality is still that old, I have to protect my stuff mentality, which today, I mean, if you're doing that, you're not going anywhere because you're putting yourself in that little bubble. Like, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but
Well, it used to be that bands would go on tour, and they wouldn't make squat on their albums because the record companies were making the bulk of that.
right.
But they would make the money on merch. the industry's changed so much now that if a record company or a label wants to sign you, they're going to put in the contract they want part of your merch sales as well.
That's ridiculous.
So it's, it's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. But
Right.
everybody always wants a piece of the pie.
Well, Zappa said it, man. There was a time when you showed talent, and these industry moguls would finance you and help you evolve. And that's not the case anymore. They want you to do all the legwork, and then they want to jump in for their piece of the friggin' pie, man. And at that point, you spent tens of thousands of dollars on albums and merchandise and everything else. What's their contribution other than distribution?
Right.
And if we can master the distribution part of it, then they're really not necessary anymore.
Right. And it actually, to me,
Not us, but
it
I
looks
mean,
like it's going that way. Like, honestly, it looks like the record labels and stuff are just, they're dinosaurs and they're getting ready to go away. The problem is these Spotify's, and I don't like to say negative things about them because I don't want them, backlashing on anybody, but the Amazons and the Spotify's, they pay so little to the artist that
right.
I think, honestly, if somebody had enough money, right, I'm saying if somebody had enough money that they could actually start their own streaming business like that and did even a 50-50 deal, with the artist, they would make billions. Like, somebody's got to start doing it.
First of all, it's below us. Yeah. Maybe it's you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the money to start a streaming service, or believe me, I would have done it a long time ago. I mean, because I don't know. I just feel like the Spotify's, and my podcast's on Spotify, so if they want to screw at me, they can, or whatever. But these companies like that, to me, they're just predators.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think one thing that's kind of missing right now, and call me crazy, but when MTV was around, MTV launched so many bands' careers, and the bands that are still touring now and pulling in the big dollars for tickets were on MTV.
Right.
MTV isn't MTV anymore.
Right.
So
exactly.
I think when people have an opportunity to actually see a band when they're not playing in their town or something like that, that helps with the people knowing about you, so that when you do go to their town, they want to come see you, and they're going to buy the record. They're going to buy the merch, and that would help keep the industry going. But, nobody's really seems like they want to do it anymore.
See, great minds think alike, because I don't know if you realize it or not, but I grew up in the 80s, and I was a MTV kid, and Rock Wars is basically modeled after MTV. Yep. That's the whole idea of Rock Wars. It's music videos, like people coming and watching music videos. And the Battle of the Bands, because I was in a lot of those growing up too. But I agree with you 100%, and I'm hoping that there are people still out there that love their MTV, because Rock Wars is basically the modern equivalent of MTV. You can go on there and watch videos all day long if you want to.
The problem is most kids nowadays have no clue what MTV was.
Real world.
Yeah, they think it's the fucking reality shows and all the other bullshit that they have on that station now. Right. You need to have music. I mean, that's the whole point of it. And if you can see, because I've seen bands on Rock Wars and things like that I've actually gone back to Twitter and liked or followed on Twitter or wherever, because I was like, that song's really cool. I want to see what else they got. So I might look them up on Spotify, or something like that. So, I think somebody's missing the boat on that aside from you.
Right. Well, I mean,
and more power to you getting moving on this.
Thanks. But honestly, I mean, we are growing every day. Like we're in, I want to say 27 countries now. And I do get a lot of feedback, and like people will, message me on Facebook or Twitter and be like, "Hey, I just watched that, that video from As Night Falls, and that's great. And where can I, find their stuff?" That does happen. Unfortunately, I work like 12 hours a day, 7 days a week on Rock Wars because I'm a one-man show. So, hopefully eventually I'll start making some money off it and be able to hire somebody to help, But
if it takes off, like I remember Headbangers Ball on MTV.
Mhm.
How many bands did I get into as a kid? Tuning in every Saturday night to watch Headbangers Ball with Ricky Braxton, right?
Absolutely.
Scotty in.
Yeah.
He was awesome. So.
Hell, I watched it when Alan Hunter was the host of Headbangers Ball.
Don't date us too much.
That was there was hairspray in use, right?
Ozone days.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a little bit of hope for the youth right now because I'll tell you what, if you guys get a chance to check them out, there's a band that's competing this month with you guys. They're called Age of Ore. The oldest member of the band's 15. They're a metal band. They're really good for kids. You should check them out. But
Age of Order.
Age of Ore. I don't know where they came up with it, but it sounds like something like The Land Before Time or something. But yeah, they're a three-piece. The lead singer's the lead singer's 15, the bass player's 13, and the drummer's 12.
All right.
Nice.
So, and they actually play actual music, so it's kind of cool.
There's hope.
They're not far from you guys either because they're in New Jersey.
Oh boy!
Oh, cool.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely cool sitting down talking with you guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Like I said, if there's anything that I can do for you guys, just reach out and let me know if you want me to post something to Facebook or Twitter or, a link or, whatever. Just let me know.
Absolutely.
Hey, we appreciate that,
Yeah,
Sean.
thank you very much.
Yes.
We appreciate it as well. Yeah. Keep it out there. Keep it current.
Keep your fingers crossed that we get this thing done with Rock Wars Battle Zone because we'll definitely send you guys an invite.
Be an honor.
We'll promote the shit out of it on all our social media platforms, that's for sure.
Cool. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, we can talk about it or we can end the interview. It's up to you guys.
Just our new album's available on CD. It's available
On vinyl.
on vinyl.
I love the fact that
For the audio file.
I love the fact that vinyl has come back, and I really have to go out and buy a turntable because I so miss albums.
It's worth it.
I'll tell you what, you buy the turntable, let us know. We'll send you the first album to play on it. It'll be this.
Yeah.
Awesome. I definitely will pick up a turntable.
Send it there.
Cool.
We'll definitely send you an album.
Awesome. But you have to sign it before you send it. So.
Okay, we can make that happen. I don't know why you'd want that.
Hey,
Don't try and steal our identities. We're broke.
Yeah.
hey, maybe you guys will win Rock Wars, and Sony will see that and say, you know what, we have to sign Yigga Digga to a $2 million contract or something. Who knows?
Sounds like a plan to me.
I have no problem with paying a finder's fee on that.
Hey, hopefully, like I said, we keep getting bigger. I'm impressed with the growth of the channel. I think we have 35,000 views or something now, and we keep getting new bands. Like we just had somebody on from Cuba. Like I was pretty impressed with getting Cuba being communist and all. But
yeah, right. Yeah.
like we're growing every day, so I'm just hanging in there. Hopefully in the next couple of years it'll, if I figure if there's a guy that makes $10 million a year playing video games on YouTube, like music videos has to, do something.
Yeah, really?
Have you looked into maybe talking to Eddie Trunk about what you're doing?
No, I never really even. I never even considered it, honestly. I never even thought, like, why would Eddie Trunk want to talk to me? You know what I mean? I'm some Yahoo from Boston, New Jersey.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've actually had the fortunate responses from him on a couple of emails I've sent to him. And, his radio show on Volume is really trying to help the industry as a whole. And, he might see what you're doing and really dig it. I mean, he used to be an A&R.
Right.
So, he might be into what you're doing and want to talk to you more about it.
Well, that's awesome. I'll definitely have to. I'll have to send him out a message or something.
Yeah, he's all about promoting the rock.
That's cool. I never even thought, like, I'm just, I'm that guy that does the Rock Wars thing. You know what I mean? Who wants to talk to me? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, even if he finds out about it and he mentions it one time on his show, that could drive your viewership up big time.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to reach out and see.
Everybody. And everybody will.
Yeah, maybe I'll get my Rock Wars bands to do a writing, thing. Everybody send them an email saying, "Hey, go do something about Rock Wars."
Check out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
That's awesome. Well, it's a pleasure having you guys on. Anytime you guys want to compete, you're more than welcome. Hopefully you'll win and then have to, sit out until the Battle of Champions, which I think is September. But if not, whenever you want to put a video on, you're more than welcome to put it on. So.
We really
cool, man.
Okay, man.
Appreciate the time.
Right. Thanks a lot, and I'm going to let you guys go because I pretty much exhausted the questions that I have. Hopefully,
we're practicing anyway.
Hopefully we'll be able to do this again sometime, and it'll be because you guys just signed a major contract or something.
Let's hope.
All right, guys, you have a good day, and thanks for talking to me.
All right, thanks a lot.
For giving us the time.
Peace, man.
Peace, man.
Don't care that you're slowly dying till the madness